All right. Hey, y'all. I am so glad that we were able to make it to this training. We are going to be talking all about creating some content that is really going to or nurture your audience. It's going to focus on building relationships because that is the foundational piece. So, I do have some notes because I want to make sure that I stay on track and I am respectful of your time and that we get done what we are here to do. Okay. So, going to give you a little bit of backstory on me. I've been in business 8 years as of this month. I started as a virtual assistant, specialized in Pinterest services, and in the last several years have been working at training women to be Pinterest virtual assistants themselves. I am now also focusing on messaging. It has been really great to tie together all of the content work that I've been doing and really just help focus on creating relationships with your audience so that you can then serve them well with the offers that you're selling and be able to help more people and make a bigger impact with your business. So, I'm going to talk briefly about this is just kind of the beginning stages of what is the Nurture to Convert. This is a system by Dana Malstaff of Boss Moms that I have recently gotten this certification for. And so, this is just the beginning piece because we focus on building those relationships and then moving them through to actually focus on converting to sales. So, this is going to be what gets you that attention online. This is going to be what gets you to stand out. This is going to be what draws your people to you. And it is also going to be the type of messaging that may repel people. And that is always a good thing because you want to make sure that you're pulling in the people that you want to work with, people that are your ideal clients, people that want the same things that you want. And then the people that don't fit those criteria, you don't want them to come and work with you. You want to make sure that you are getting the attention of your ideal client. All right, so by looking at this nurture messaging, we are creating relationships with people because you are having shared ideas, shared thoughts, and feelings. So, this is really based on connecting with your ideal audience, with your ideal clients on the emotional level. So, this has been something that I have worked on for years and years and years. Putting out content on social media has really not ever been something that I've been great at. And so I have always struggled with that, especially creating something that I really felt like made a connection with people and didn't just like check the box that I posted on social media that day. So we're going to be moving away from that mindset. You are not going to be necessarily using like fill in the blank prompts. This is going to move you away from a content calendar that wants you to post on Taco Tuesday and all of those holidays that were like, okay, well, we posted and this is going to, show how fun I am and I did this. You may not be posting as much implementing this system, but it is going to be posting in a way that is going to really matter to your audience and is going to deepen your connection with them. Okay. So it is going to show that you understand how they feel. So all of this is, like I said, it's based on emotional connection with your ideal audience. And so it may look and feel a little bit different. So, what we are going to be digging into today is going to be looking at creating some statements that are going to, we call them permission statements. They are going to really speak to the struggles and the thoughts of your ideal audience. They are going to show that you relate to that. You are going to be really aware of the fact that you're going to want to solve these problems. You're going to want to add something in there that's like, but here's how I can help you. And so this is the biggest thing that I have had to work on is that this is simply going to be statements that say, I see you, I understand how you feel. This is totally normal. If you're feeling this way, this is going to be where you just really speak to where your ideal audience is. What are your people feeling? What are they thinking? I do have some prompts to help give you some ideas around this. But again, the hardest thing for me was leaving off that piece of, but here's how I can help you, or let's make this better, because you are just in this phase looking at telling them that you understand and giving them permission to feel the way that they feel. So, like for me, some things that I have said have been like, it's okay to be frustrated with the content calendar not working on getting you any engagement on social media. I'm not telling them how to fix it. I'm just saying it's okay to feel frustrated about these things. It's okay to feel torn in two different directions when you are knowing that you need to be creating content for your business, but you also need to be there for your family. It's completely normal to feel torn in those two different directions as a mom in business. And so, really just focusing on how they're feeling and telling them that it's normal and it's okay, and then that is just going to let people know that you understand how they feel, you understand what they're going through, and that's going to be that beginning of that emotional connection for then you to move into being able to tell them that you offer a solution to the problems that they have and the things that they are struggling with, okay? So these are going to be used in social media posts. So that's kind of what we're going to focus on. But when you come up with these permission statements, they are meant to be used kind of everywhere. They can be really great for even creating even more content. So you can use these for ideas for creating long form content. And long form content would be a blog post, it would be a podcast, or even a YouTube video. Okay. So we still have some people hopping on. Gonna make sure we get them in. And so these can really be foundational for creating a lot more content. But what we're going to focus on right now is just getting a couple of these statements created so that you can actually start posting them. This I've used to create a lot of the content that I've been posting lately of, just speaking to the struggles that women have, particularly moms in business, around creating content for their business. Okay. So this is also stuff that can translate into your nurture email system. So when someone gets onto your email list, these can be some things again you're going to want to focus on nurturing the relationship with those new subscribers, and this is going to be how you do that. You focus on that emotional connection that you understand, you see where they are, you understand their struggles, and then you would move into showing how you can solve those. So this is just going to be that first piece for now. These are also meant to be things that you can put into your conversation about your business when you're talking about who you are and what you do, how you serve people and how you help them. These can be kind of sprinkled in if you are doing a podcast interview or if you do a guest blogging post. So these can be used in a lot of different ways. They're meant to be kind of short and to the point. These are going to be those pieces online that people really like to share because they relate. They're like, "Oh, that's me." This is what makes people say like, "Oh, I feel like you're in my head," or I really she really gets me." That's what these phrases are supposed to do for people, okay? So, if you have a Facebook group, this is somewhere you can share those as well. So these are really going to be things that you can share and infuse into all of your marketing for your business. All right, so this is going to help set up your audience for buying from you because it is going to help kind of remove some of those barriers that they may have put up that well, I'm a really busy mom. So I'm going to kind of talk about these things in relation to my own business. Well, I'm really busy. My kids are really young. So creating content has kind of been put on the back burner. And so by me speaking to those concerns that they have and giving them permission to feel that way, but also then know that they're not alone in that, then that is going to be less of a barrier when they are looking at working with me to implement this nurture to convert system. Okay. So you're giving them permission to feel what they're feeling and giving them that space to not feel alone in that. And we all know that feeling that sense of community is exactly what we're going for with nurturing these relationships so that people can make sure that they are really building that relationship with you and seeing you as that go-to person around that topic and really feeling comfortable with you with that. Okay. Sorry for the background noise. Kids and a dog here, y'all. All right, so let's look at this. Let's do a little bit of brainstorming. If you want, you can go into the chat. I have that pulled up. And so I am going to kind of give you some thought joggers, giving you some things to start thinking about for if you just hopped on, we're talking about creating permission statements. So I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a recap. These are going to be statements that free your ideal client from feeling alone in the things that they are thinking about is going to give them permission to feel the way that they're feeling without trying to fix it. Okay, so we are thinking about things that they may feel guilty about. So, like an example that I gave was you're not crazy if you find it really difficult to focus on creating content for your business when you're planning 85 holiday activities and all of the dress up days and all the things that are really starting to get geared up for if you are a mom of particularly maybe middle school or elementary kids, maybe even some of the high school kids. So you're not crazy if you feel guilty, trying to run your business through the holidays because you're feeling pulled in different directions. So you can think about things that they are feeling guilty about, things that they are frustrated about. And again, this is going to be through the lens of your business. So that's why I'm focusing on content creation. I have, I could do a lot of this for Pinterest marketing as well, or just running a business as a mom. So just making sure that you are thinking about these statements through the lens of your business. All right. So I am going to pull up some of mine and give you some more examples. All right. So some things that I have written that are like permissions or that are going to create that sense of belonging for people is I said, you're not alone if you feel like social media drains your energy more than it gives you results. Okay, so that is speaking to the fact that many of us have been posting on social media. Like I posted every day. Like I'm trying to do a video for, getting these reels or these YouTube shorts, and you're feeling like you are just overwhelmed with that. That's totally normal, and so that's me, like, giving you, my audience, it's okay to feel frustrated about that. Notice again, I'm not telling you how to fix it. Within this training I am, but within that statement, it's just that this is totally normal for you to feel that way. Okay, I'm gonna give you a few more. It's okay to cringe at the thought of creating content every day. Your worth isn't measured by how often you post. Okay, so this is speaking to we feel this need to check the box that we posted on social media each and every day. Um, I talk a lot about we're not keeping up with influencers. You're not getting paid for people viewing your content. And so you don't have to post every day. It's going to be much more effective for you to focus on posts that are really going to connect with your audience versus just checking a box, because just checking a box has not been working. And that's why each and every one of you are here. That's why I jumped on the opportunity to learn more about this Nurture to Convert system and become a certified coach, because I had all these same struggles myself. All right. So another is you're not crazy if you struggle to balance taking care of your family, client calls, and writing that next blog post. That's the reality of being a mom in business. Okay. So again, just giving you permission to feel that struggle, because it is a real struggle. There are things that we can do that will make that easier. But again, we're focusing on this, just giving your ideal audience permission and making them feel really seen and heard and understood. And that's where building that relationship begins, to where then you have permission to speak into those problems that they're having with the solutions that you offer. Okay, so let's see a couple more, and y'all let me know if this is helpful. We can work through a couple of yours if you want to. Any ideas that you're having that are coming up, you can put those in the comments and I can look at those. If you are watching the replay, you can email me your ideas if they're popping up and I can give you feedback on those as well, okay? So you don't have to feel guilty about not having a fancy Instagram aesthetic. Your message matters more than your grid. It's totally normal to question if you're cut out for this when you're exhausted from both work and motherhood. Spoiler alert, you are. So I speak a lot to moms in business because that's where I am right now. Let's see. It's normal to feel overwhelmed by the pressure to show up online when all you want to do is get one uninterrupted hour to work. You're not crazy if you feel like no content strategy can fit into the 30-minute pocket of time you've managed to squeeze out of your day. So if you feel like that's, the only amount of time you have and no one has been able to tell you how to really use that, that's totally normal. You don't have to be everywhere all the time. Permission granted to not have it all together 24/7 on social media. Okay, so those are just some of mine, of just giving my audience, all of you, permission to feel that way, to feel frustrated with creating content. So if you have any that you would like to pop into the comments, then you can do that. I'm going to put some things in the comments for you as well. And I'm going to kind of type through that. And so some thought joggers for some permissions, if you would like to brainstorm, that's what this was for me to teach you a little bit. And then let's get some permission statements out there. Let me look over them. And then you will walk away with some content to post for social media. Okay, so some thought joggers are the beginning statement of "You're not crazy for feeling." I'm going to type that up for you. And then it says, some others could be for feeling guilty about. Just gonna kind of give you this here. So what are your ideal audience? What are your people feeling guilty about? What are they frustrated about? What are they nervous about? So it's completely normal for them to be where they are right now. And that is getting them to, feel that connection with you because you really do understand where they are and how they're feeling. And so that's the first prompt there. Then the next one is focusing on normalizing the issues that they feel like they're having, the struggles that they're having. So it's normal for, these are just kind of some prompts that you can get started with. It's normal for, being a wife and a mom to take up all of your time and feeling like content gets put on the back burner. So that would be one that I would have. It's normal for when they're getting started with something for it to be messy. That's, something not looking perfect. It's normal for you to care about, making sure that you have everything looking put together all the time online when really people want you to show up in your imperfections because that's where you're going to make those connections. Okay, so gonna get that up for you. If you want in the comments, you can tell me about the work that you do, and then I can help get get some ideas flowing if you would like. Okay. And then the last one is that moment when you realize you will never have a cup of hot coffee as a mom. Okay, so some of these can be more playful, they can be more humorous. Again, it's still kind of speaking to this like real life is like I am looking at my cup of coffee from this morning that's still sitting in the living room because I forgot about it. There's not much left, but that's the reality at this stage in my life is I usually end up reheating my coffee. And so, you see these are again, like I said, these are the posts that people share because they can relate to them, like, "Oh, like, this is me, I have to share it." So it's creating that content that is shareable, that really connects with people, that is going to get your people commenting, that is going to get them engaging with your content. So instead of just checking the box that you posted on social media, this is going to really start building connections with people, okay? All right. You stop thinking and I'm give you a few more and then I will look over. I know Monique is organizing life coach, productivity coaching. So this can kind of mesh well together. All right, so here's the last of those thought joggers. And so let's take a look. Let's see what we can come up with for you. All right. Okay, so just a few ideas for looking from the standpoint of the organization. So you're not crazy for feeling guilty about not having everything perfectly organized. Life gets busy, and that's okay to need help. So I can come to this from a really personal standpoint because this is messy. We have lots of things that we need to get rid of. So really thinking about what guilt do women carry around that and telling them that it's okay. It's okay if, I mean, like for me, it would have to be an ongoing process because the clutter just keeps building back up. And so you just that permission that it may not be a one and done process for them. It may be more, difficult to achieve that goal. For some women, like maybe particularly for me, your house may not ever look like someone else's because you just want to keep more things. Like you're not going to be minimalist. You may have to have different systems to keep things organized because of, the way that your brain works with things. And little tip here, it's okay for you to look at putting things into Chat GPT with some of these prompts and what you do. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. And it can just really help you get ideas coming. And then, you can personalize it from there. I always recommend personalizing things, but just to start getting some ideas flowing, perfectly fine for you to do that. All right, so another was you're not crazy for feeling nervous about letting go of items that hold sentimental value or facing the overwhelm of getting started. I would actually break that into two because those are two very different challenges, but those are really good points. Um, and it would be hard to let go of sentimental value things, and just speaking to the fact that you understand that that would be difficult is going to really connect with a lot of women. The second part that would make this a totally separate statement, um, you're not crazy for feeling nervous about facing the overwhelm of getting started. I would, be more specific with that one of, with organizing and going through and thinning out things. Um, you're not crazy for feeling frustrated about the clutter that seems to keep coming back even after your best efforts. So, speak to the women that have tried to declutter before and not done a great job with that, that the clutter came back, and, just recognizing that that is a reality, and again, just stopping there and not trying to fix it at this point with these phrases, okay? Okay. What comes after the statement? So these are just statements to start building those relationships. You would then create different content that could be offering those solutions, but this is where you're just building that initial connection. So it is part of the full system of things that you would do. This is just one teeny tiny little piece. So within the nurture piece of Nurture to Convert, you have opinions, permissions, we have a movement manifesto. These are all your thoughts and beliefs and opinions around your business, and the way that you help people. And so then there is a results messaging piece, which is where you actually help people get the results. And then the conversion is what you would be doing to get them to say yes to working with you. So this is a teeny tiny piece of that first part of the system, but it has been really, really helpful for me to just even just digging in with this one little piece. You can see how, I'm already coming up with ideas for bigger pieces of content for this, of, things that you really need to dig into, because again, if you're telling people that it's okay to feel this way, then you are going to be removing those barriers to working with you because you've already covered those with giving them permission to feel this way and that you acknowledge that. So it's kind of going ahead and speaking to some of those objections that people would have with working with you. You're kind of handling that up front while also really focusing on building those relationships, okay? All right, so looking at some more, it's normal for organizing tasks to take up all of your time when you don't have a clear system in place. You're not alone in feeling overwhelmed. I like that because sometimes it feels like it would take me forever to get organized. It's because there's a system that's missing. So I thought that one was really good. It's normal for your space to be messy when you're balancing multiple responsibilities. Mess is a sign that life is happening. I like that one because if I feel judged by you because I am messy, then it's going to be really, really hard for me to come and ask or say yes to getting help from you because I feel like these women with these immaculate houses that aren't messy are just judging me. And that's one of those internal thoughts that
Doing
people probably don't even care. But again,
yes,
you're giving people
actually.
permission to feel that way if that is what your people are feeling. And so, that's something that can just, again, it can remove that barrier of, oh, well, if I hire Monique and she sees how messy my house is, she's gonna judge me. She's gonna think I um don't have it all together. Yes, you definitely bring in your personal story. For sure. That is always a big, big part of nurturing these relationships with people is sharing your story for sure. Yes, raising 6 kids, you definitely so you can take these, and it can be like that starting point. So these one-liners are really great, like I said, just to get people's attention, they're really attention getting, but you can also use these to develop much larger pieces of content. Um, you can infuse it in sharing your story. You can say, "This is why I understand that because this is where I was, and this was my story." So yes, these can just be it's much easier to sit here today and say like, "Okay, let's come up with, a couple of these short statements," but then that needs to be infused into your marketing holistically, and it can be a really great starting point for coming up with longer form content, okay? All right, so last one, it's normal for you to want things organized in a specific way that fits your lifestyle. There's no one size fits all approach to organizing. So those are just kind of a few things that you can see there in the chat again are those prompts and that can allow you to again hop into chat gpt, it's free, put in your industry, put in as much as you can about yourself and the audience that you are looking to speak to, a lot of as much as you can about your ideal clients, even if it's just working with moms. um, Put as much information as you can in there. You can use these prompts, and that can be a really great starting point to just get some ideas flowing. Because even just going through this, I'm like, okay, now I'm coming up with all these ideas for you, Monique. And it can just, there's nothing worse than sitting there trying to write a post and it just being the cursor blinking back at you. So don't be afraid to use the technology to get some ideas going and then going in and personalizing those and working with those and then take those and share them. You can make like a carousel, like a slide post on Instagram, and the last slide you can say like which of these resonated with you most. And then you can get that feedback from your audience on this and see what kind of direction they're going. I'm big on having conversations with people and then seeing how they talk about things. That's something that I've taught for the last several years. And so that can also be a way if you're like, I really don't know how they're feeling. Well, hop on some chats with people and, find something that is valuable to them, whether it's like a 15-minute, call where you do an assessment of something or give an audit of something and then get on these calls and talk to people and see how your audience is phrasing things and saying things and what they say their struggles are and what they say that their desires are around the type of work that you do. Okay, all right, so, if you would like to work on this more with me, there are two ways that you can do that. We can do a one on one call where we can just, you can write out these phrases and we can work through some things together. And then there is what I am just kind of calling my get your content done throughout all of the holidays. So it would be 3 weeks working together. We would work on long form content, which is, like I said, would be either a blog post or videos for YouTube or a podcast, depending on what you're doing. We would get 6 of those ideas created for that. Ideally, production, get it completely done. And then we would work on doing all of the nurture pieces of this. So your movement manifesto, your permission statements, and your opinions to have for your social media post. And this would allow you to batch all of your content, because if you have the long form content, you would pull from social media, pull pieces of that for social media, repurposing all of that. And so it would work for you to get all of your content for social media and a long form content every other week between now and January, so that you do not have to worry about doing anything for your social media until after the holidays. Because I know, as a mom, which is what most of my audience is, you are trying to figure out how you're going to juggle all of the extra that comes with the holidays, and then the guilt that comes with, well, I want to be enjoying doing these things with my family for the holidays, but I also have a business to run and I want it to continue to grow, and I can't afford to just, take off during the holidays, on top of having the work that you're actually doing with clients. So there is the short term, if you just want to kind of work through a little bit more in depth of what we did here today, or if you want to get it all knocked out and done, then we can work together more extensively, and get that content done for you throughout all of the holidays. So if either of those interests you, then we can chat more about that. You can send me an email or we can chat on Messenger, and we can see how I can help you continue to work through this nurture to convert system to really help build your community and nurture those relationships to lead to sales. All right. So, any questions before we wrap up? I said it would be about half an hour. And so, I want to make sure I'm being respectful of your time. But I hope that you can take these prompts and use the technology that we have and really just start making your content creation a lot easier and doing it in a way that is going to be impactful for your business and building your audience, instead of just checking a box and posting about Taco Tuesday.